Going to get started on the next build here. This time I'm returning to the Star Trek universe, and the first of 3 Intrepid class starships. We'll be working with the Polar Lights 1/1000th scale USS Voyager kit. And, you know, it's a very well-detailed kit. Parts breakdown is logical. I like the fact I don't have to worry about accidentally inverting the engines this time because of the way they're molded. Clear parts are well placed and easily used. I'll also be using some aftermarket, starting with the photo etch set from ParaGrafix. Debating on whether I'm going to use some of these 3D printed conversion bits from Modelworx. And then last but not least, as I will not be building this as Voyager, are decals from Decals, marking this as the USS Blackthorne NCC-76719. This was the 1/1400th scale version of the ship that was done in resin many moons ago. It's got most of the details there too. I will be referring back to that model often as I start the build, but I'm expecting, since I'm not doing any lighting on this one, for the build itself to go fairly quickly. Alright, here we have our finished nacelle assemblies. I went ahead and did not paint the clear inserts because it'll be easier to just paint the areas after I get the model assembled. There is a slight seam around the edge, but it's tolerable. I've also got the photo etch grills on the impulse engines in place. It's a beginning. Okay. In trying to make the Modelworx shuttle bay actually fit into the upper half of the secondary hull, there's a connection lug like that one that needs to be removed. I've also removed most of the ledge you would normally fit the kit door to. Went ahead and glued the rest of that seam. And at this point we should be about ready to install the shuttle bay into the hull. Alright, moving right along, the secondary hull is now assembled. Like with the nacelles, I went ahead and put in the deflector. I'll be painting it later. If I can get the camera to focus. Nearly had a heart attack as I lost one of the photon tubes in the carpet monster, but I found it. Have yet to install the doors for the landing gear. One hiccup I did run into, I've got the shuttle bay in place, but as you can see, I had to fix one nasty gap of a seam, and it looks like it's still trying to gap. So I'll be adding some more putty to that. Unfortunately, that's because I installed the resin shuttle bay instead of just using the kit shuttle bay doors. All in all, though, ship is still going together pretty well. Okay, as you can see, we're working on installing the photo etch on the lower part of the saucer. One issue I've got with this version of Voyager is the transporter emitters do not have the spots where they go clearly marked out. So it is kind of a best guess thing. And it looks like I got those uneven. The photo etch version of the Aero Shuttle is actually smaller than the version that was engraved in the kit. So you wind up having to sand that off and fill the lines to put the new one in. Also got the lower view windows in. Okay, after a lot of time, a lot of patience, a little bit of frustration, I have all of the photo etch installed on the upper hull. Window frames are in. Some of them are a little crinkled, but, you know, it's still better to have the frames than to have the bare area. Some of it wasn't easy, and in fact, the windows for the lounge there above in the top, I actually put the wrong windows in. I only just recently found out that I'd put the windows that are supposed to go on the hangar deck in there. All right, we're still dealing with it though. All in all, I'm very happy with how this is looking. I'm probably going to adjust that one a little. But the etch is all now, and we are moving right along. All right, at this point, barring some little niggles, notably the fact that's still popping up, major assembly of the USS Blackthorne NCC-76719 is complete. For the most part, she's gone together pretty well. And once I get everything nailed down, I'm looking forward to getting some paint on her. Now, there are a couple of things. ParaGrafix set only gives one of the docking ports that go on the saucer, or there should actually be 3 of them. But we will deal with that when we deal with that. Here's where we're sitting. All right. Here we have the latest stage with the Blackthorne. The entire model now under a coat of Games Workshop's Gray Sear. Definitely helps bring it together as a cohesive whole. I've also done the underside. Next up for this poor ship will be a whole lot of detail painting. Alright, Busy afternoon of panel painting. Must admit, I'm glad the Intrepid class doesn't have traditional Aztecs. The checkerboard paint, as well as some other dark areas, were all hand painted. But I like the fact that on the Intrepid class I can do that, whereas, you know, if I were doing Aztecs on like a Constitution or a Reliant, I'd be going crazy about now. Still got detail to go. Alright, at this point, additional detail painting is finished. Got the dish in, the deflector around it. All the detail painting was hand done, and then the panel lines were picked out with the Tamiya panel liner. Some of it is a little rough, but this is also my first experience actually using this stuff, so live and learn. Phaser strips were done in the gunmetal and then hit with the panel liner as well. Got the running lights in place now. All in all, yeah, it's not perfect, but I'm happy with how it's looking. I'll hit it with a coat of sealer, and we'll move on to decaling, which will likely be a very time-consuming process. Okay, after a couple of afternoons of getting a lot of decals down, getting a couple of final coats of sealer on her, I'm going to call the build of the USS Blackthorne NCC-76719 complete. She was based off an old RP that actually helped us develop a one of the Star Trek RPGs many moons ago. But I always want to remember her. A couple afternoons worth of decaling her. The decals to help us get the markings specifically for the Blackthorne. See if we can get this to focus. Yay! Also made extensive use of the ParaGrafix photo etch set. These had the decals put over them, and then I went ahead and put the same black panel liner I put over the other sensor panels to help bring them in line. There are a number of the stencils for this ship that I did not put on, and I freely admit this. I mean, I didn't do the warning stripes around the phasers. I freely admit that. But I knew I was going to be in for a lot of decaling either way, so I'm just happy that when all was said and done, see if I can get her back on the base here. When all was said and done, I got a very presentable looking starship. Took some time to get her done, but I'm very happy. And as I can sense I'm starting to ramble, I'm going to put some stills at the end of this, and thank you all for watching.